Hi, I'm Julie Redtree. I'm a shaman in the Portland, Oregon area, and I'm doing the card of the day. And today I felt the need to talk about the procession of the equinoxes a little bit and kind of what is going on in our world right now. So you can look up the procession of the equinoxes online. You know, it's a thing that happens, the ecliptic in the sky where all the zodiac constellations live, processes backwards kind of from our point of view from Earth. And so we are, or were, in the age of Pisces, and then we just shifted into the age of Aquarius. And you know, because it goes backwards, before we were in Pisces we were in Aries, and then before that we were in Taurus, and then before that Gemini. You know, it goes back and back. So, and if you look at Egyptian art throughout those processions, which take about 2,000 years to move through each sign going backwards, in Egyptian art there's a lot of things relating to that. Like during the time of Aries, there was a lot of art reflecting rams, you know, which you can probably call into your memory. And then during the time of Taurus, they worshipped the bull. And, you know, there was even going back to the lion, which might be kind of where the Sphinx came in or came from. That's just a theory, but it's interesting to think about. And so I wanted to talk about what's going on right now and the Mayan calendar ending in 2012. So I'm drawing a picture. Okay, so there's these ages, and I don't know all of them off the top of my head. You can look them up though, because the Mayans kept a really good track of this. And so with the end of 2012, that was the end of the Mayan calendar, right? It was the end of this very long cycle, which off the top of my head I think is like 26,000 years. It's one of those numbers you hear people call out all the time. But this was a really long cycle. And this is kind of like humanity's time. Think of this as the soil. This is humanity's time out in the sunshine, above the ground, out in the sun. And this is, you know, in the earth. So kind of what's happening, this was, you know, that whole cycle was what you could think of as kind of a human winter, or like the dark ages. We were in the darkness then. And then before that, we were in the light. And I kind of think that you can pinpoint this to like matriarchal times and patriarchal times. I could be wrong about that, but you know, it's interesting to think about. But right now, we're right here. So this whole big, long, dark cycle just ended, you know, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And we popped up like a new little seedling, just bing, into the sunlight. So if you wanted to think of, this is winter, and we're now in the springtime. So long, dark winter, where all kinds of things got, you know, forgotten, or like, I kind of think of this winter as a big part of where we kind of forgot our connection to nature. You know, we forgot kind of the animal side of us. There's a lot of patriarchy happening, which brings with it, you know, all the things that it does. And then here, I kind of see we're in this phase where we're popping out into the springtime. So we're like this brand new little seed shoot, and all of that energy that it takes to get up and out of the soil is where we've been for like the past 15 years. Like the ending of this time and then the popping out, which, you know, I don't know about you, but for me, like these past 10 years have been really hard, really intense, lots of stuff ending, lots of stuff beginning. And I kind of think of this point now, this arc, this springtime, which will last, thousands of years. We won't see summer in our lifetimes, or maybe many lifetimes. It's going to be a while. And, people talk about what summer up here being in the sunshine, like the golden age of humanity, which I don't know what's going to happen when we get over there. But right now, my concern, how to get through being in springtime, this evolution through spring as a species, as a collective. So we're popping out, and I kind of think that what came here, so let's think of that as matriarchy, and what came here, patriarchy, we're now going to integrate and hybridize or marry. So a lot of people, I read online people talking about twin souls and all this twinning energy, which to me feels like a marriage, this being a male or female aspect, and this being a male aspect, and then this being them joined together. So that could be one way to think of what that twin energy might be that everyone's talking about, kind of a marriage of male and female, or coming together of two things that are different but the same. So that was one thing I wanted to talk about. The other thing was it was the procession of the equinoxes. Well, I guess I can just do the card of the day then. So maybe the other thing will come to me. All right, so I drew this card as a helper card for all of us today, and it is the Fool. This is the Mother Peace deck, and you don't get this card lightly, and it's the turns on this deck have to do with they have implications. So this is a state of being turned way down. This is the opposite of this card. And the way it's like a hose bib. The way I drew it, it's turned way up. So what I think this is saying is go and be foolish. Whatever the Fool is the zero. He's the baby. Like you don't ever think of babies being foolish for being new or for being inexperienced. And the Fool just embodies so much hope and so much playfulness and faith. Faith in life, faith in faith that you are going to be taken care of, even if you do handstands, next to an alligator in a river. Some decks have the Fool, walking off a cliff just blindly. And, sometimes some decks say that that's a bad connotation, being foolish, which it could mean that. But in this case, since it's turned so far up, I got the sense that, we've gone through this the ending, the ending of anything is really hard. Think of this as like the hours of labor before a mother gives birth, or that dark, cold time of winter where it's just so, it just seems like forever since you've seen the sun. And then we've popped out. Now we've got like 4 years under our belt of being in this light space. And I remember the other thing I wanted to say. I saw somebody in all of the studies I've been doing said that ascension, ascension, which if you think about this is literally ascending, going up into the light, which is what everybody talks about. And they talk about 3D and 5D and 4D, and it gets really confusing. But to simplify it, someone said ascension is the descension from your mind to your heart, which I think is really beautiful and explains a lot. We've been taught in the winter, in the patriarchal times, that our mind is like, it knows everything. And that the wisdom of the heart is just nothing to be listened to. You know, this would be wisdom of the heart. But I think there needs to be a marriage of the two, an integration, you know, like in the springtime, this integration of, you know, masculine and feminine qualities. So, someone said, you know, it's a descension from the mind to the heart, which I think there's also, so giving the heart importance, giving the heart's information, input, value or weight, and kind of listening to that and understanding what that means for you, but then also kind of marrying it with the mind, which was what I was talking about, you know, marrying this whole phase and this whole phase and marrying it here. It's all the same kind of stuff. So I think for Friday, Freya Day, which is, you know, goddess Freya of love and sex and death in the Norse tradition. So on Freya Day, go do something foolish. Get in touch with your fool side. You know, not something that would hurt foolish. You know, do something like whimsical, something that your heart wants to do. You know, maybe like on your drive home, there's some place you've always wanted to check out, and just stop what you're doing and go check it out, or go, you know, go on that little hike you've been dying to go on and never made the time for, or, you know, do something foolish and impulsive and like, but trusting that, you know, your heart knows where to go, you know. So have fun with that on Freya Day, Fool's Day, and I'll see you on Saturday for the card of the day.